ketchup on my face.
That's a really good intro. And the belt. The two coming together. I don't know, but the worst part of that's going to be the AI editing of what picks up what where. So
leave it in. Leave it in.
If this ends up on YouTube, you guys can see this bit, but I edit it down to this. So like I'm fine with everything around me, but this is my life, and this is the life I want you to see. So welcome to the FUT Clinic. We are into the first week of FC26, the first week wherein we have had resounding success. The response is defending is hard, goals are fun, the game is consistent. When it pisses you off, it consistently pisses you off, which is all I ask for. In my opinion, it's the best game in the last 9 years. And if it keeps on going the way it's going, I believe this could even be better than FIFA 17. I truly do. I truly do. And with that introduction, sadly, Rob can't be with us this week because it's his anniversary. So happy anniversary to Rob. Happy anniversary to Chris. We send all of our love to you guys. But he will be back when he comes back from Tenerife, and we will get to look at things through fresh eyes because he'll be able to tell us whether the power curve has moved, because his team will be pretty static where it is, and we'll be 2 weeks on from there. So that'll be interesting to look at. Joining me as ever is the incredible part of the EFC Discord, Tom, our co-host over here at the FUT Clinic. And with him in his beautiful, beautiful Portuguese shirt, being part of the Portuguese mafia. This isn't a Benfica shirt. They made me wear a football shirt. They both wore football shirts, and I was in a lightning fast VCR repair hoodie, which if you watch Best of the Worst, you know what that is. And if you don't know what Best of the Worst is, you should watch it. Ryan, how are you, and how have you been?
I'm all good, fella. Really, really enjoying this new game. I've been thoroughly, thoroughly impressed. Not going to sit here and say that's perfect, but there's a lot about it to like. So we'll see.
We will. And Tom, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, mate. It's funny enough how you mentioned that this could be the best FC/FIFA game since FIFA 17, and that is exactly the same game that I'm now thinking back to, going, yeah, it feels quite similar. There's some parts where it feels a bit arcadey, but there's parts where it does feel like really healthy competition early on. So I'm really excited to, delve in, discuss what, the first couple of weeks of this game's got in store for us. So yeah, thanks for having me back again.
Oh, always, man. You're a permanent part of the show. A few things about week one that have stood out to me. First and foremost, really fair SBCs. Nothing's been crazy. I was doing one of those 77 upgrades, and I was like, 80? Wait a minute. Yeah. I can get a player for this. So I did that. There are some really important decisions to be made early on in terms of players. I think in hindsight, I might have gone with Stanisic, I think his name is, or Stanisic, the Bayern Munich defender. I went with Coop Miners. I made a mistake. I saw the meta rating. I clearly don't play the meta way because he's not been that great for me, and he doesn't even make the bench anymore. So I hope that you picked either Ruggieri or the... I'm not going to say it. It'll be the endo of me before I say that, okay? Yeah. Or you can get Endo, who's really good, because whenever I come up against him, he seems to be really good. And then he somehow scores with 67 shooting. But hey, that's the new game. Anyway. Ryan, your first impressions of the game. Let's say the first couple of days. How did you find it?
First couple of days, I know I've got a bit of a rep in the Discord and with you guys of trying to sort of exploit meta. So that was the first thing I set about doing. I was like, right, okay, let's test this to some degree, whether that's in draft or any sort of game mode, what works, what doesn't. And it became very apparent very quickly. I'm like, oh, this game's actually really different. And it sort of threw me for a loop. I was happy, really, really happy. Because, oh my God, finally, I'm not going to be hitting Travellas from 30 or have them hit against me. finesse shots seem manageable. Low drivens seem, I don't want to say dead in the water, but initially it was like, whoa, these aren't anywhere near what they were. And at first it was like, oh wow, keepers are really overpowered, really strong. And it took a little while to settle into things. But I think the overriding feeling was like, oh my God, we've actually got a different game. This doesn't feel like every other title we've had for the last 5-10 years. And it was a bit daunting at first. It was like, oh shit, I've actually got to learn this now. But it was almost like a kid on Christmas. It was like, oh my God, I don't know where to start, what to do. But it was a happy sense of like, we've got to go through this all again in a completely new way, because none of the old meta seemed to immediately jump to the forefront.
When it came out, so I got to play it on Xbox from like 1 o'clock, and I went hard for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I was just like exhausted. Went to bed, woke up at like 10 o'clock, went hard another 4 hours, went to bed, and then I woke up at like 10, came in, and literally like a kid on Christmas, turned on the Xbox and was just like playing Rivals. Didn't even bother with squad battles. I was just straight into it. And I was just like, I'm so into this game. Like the reason there's been a lack of content is because I'm playing the game. Like I'm not like, oh, what should we do with this? Or how what needs to change? Or what would you change? It's like I'm just there, man. I'm in it. Like every day I've had a reason to play the game, whether that's Rivals, Pro Clubs, squad battles, losing in tournaments, whatever it requires me to do. I've been able to do it really well. Talking to tournaments, did either of you two get the Dolan card?
Yes.
Great. Is he good?
You know what? I'm looking forward to using him in gauntlets. And, again, and how many episodes in a row now? Shout out to Gav. Really, really sorry to him for not being able to play his tournaments for him. Shout out to Holiday Rob, because I logged into his account and got him the Dolan. But as I know, I feel bad for obviously missing out on Gav. But me, I'm a people person. I'm a people pleaser. I try and help as many people as I can. But yeah, I think just to put my 2 pence in on this,
One moment.
Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom, the face of FUT prostitution. Continue. If you need someone I'll play your games for you, baby. I'll play them all night long.
Mate, it says a lot about the game and my first impressions of the game if I'm offering to help other people. You were just saying then, we haven't put out a podcast episode in over a week because we're just playing the game. We're enjoying the game. We haven't come on here so far to just have a moan and be, this is broken. EA, fix this straight away. We've actually got a game, and as Ryan said, we're relearning something. And the word that comes to mind is refreshing. I feel like we're at this new start where not everybody's got hundreds of thousands of coins straight away. There's a grind. You're not always going to have those, 40, 50k division rivals every week, or the squad battles of what used to be here's 20, 30k coins as well as packs. I'm really enjoying using cards that last year we overlooked straight away because all of a sudden we've already started the game with 100, 200k and we're buying really good 30, 40k players. Yeah. We are in this transition period where I can play with an 850 coin Henrik Mkhitaryan and I'm really enjoying him. And then on the flip side, I can use a 10k card like Marcus Thuram, who's absolutely belting goals in. And it was only today, really, where I started to buy players because I know Gauntlet's coming and I want to have a whole week of playing before FUT Champs next weekend. I've started to buy those 40, 50k players for teams now. I've got an informed Pavard. We got Kanate, Frimpong, all of these types of players. Untradeable Isaac, absolute god of a player. And you can really tell the difference of what a 5k player is compared to a 20, a 50, a 100. And it really does motivate me to really go, right, how can I better myself this game? Get a good FUT Champs rewards, get a really good weekend league record almost to try and get that next upper echelon player. So in terms of my overall impressions of the game so far is EA have absolutely come out the gates with a belter. I just hope that they can continue with it. My question to you boys is, under the whole thing of our first impressions is, we got a few days of gameplay before there was that soft patch. Have you found any differences already between these patches? What are your thoughts, boys?
So having played the pre-patch and post-patch, the first thing I noticed was there was no major difference. It doesn't feel like they've just ripped up the manual, and that was my first thing I was worried about. Everybody was complaining about the defending, and I was really, really concerned that because of that, and it was the minority, but it was a loud minority of people saying, oh, I hate this, I can't defend, etc., etc. And it was a very, what I felt like, knee-jerk reaction to a new game, and the fact that people couldn't just jump in and immediately pick everything up, like we have done in previous years, because there's been little to no difference between titles. So my first concern was I saw that they were going to increase the ability of AI defending. So I had a little panic over that, and I was like, oh my God, please don't revert whatever you've done. But actually, no major difference. It's been minor tweaks. I think off the top of my head, it was a change to AI defending, which was negligible from what I've seen. It's been very, very minor. And they hit low drivens pretty hard for the powerful versions of them. But again, I didn't really notice those being over the top. Whether that was just pure luck or what, I don't know. But yeah, so far so good. The patch didn't seem to change too much, and I'm okay with that. I'm much more aligned with the idea of taking the game as it is, for better or for worse. I personally think for better, and making these micro tweaks. Because what we've seen in the past is we've seen these huge patches come in, completely upend the game, and it's been to the point where it's affected markets, affected tactics, and things like that. And I dislike that. I don't like the idea that a patch can come out overnight and my team loses 200,000 coins in value because they don't fit the new patch.
The lengthy patch of a few years ago, for example, just totally flipped everything around. So yeah, that didn't happen. I have to agree with you. The thing I noticed about the defending was that I felt when it got patched, the physicality of defenders, while the attackers are running, was much more effective than it was pre-patch. Pre-patch, it felt like you had to be 100% right 100% of the time to stop a goal. Whereas this time it felt like I can lean into them as I'm running back to try and catch the ball up, or if I stay in position and make them beat me and maintain my defensive line, then I'm hard to break down. And I think that's just a learning curve of defending, where it's like, okay, don't lose your head, don't become arrogant. I'm really glad that they patched it, because I found it really difficult to defend, because every time my defender stopped, his weight and momentum would take him in a completely different direction. And then his reacceleration would be so poor that there's no way I could catch somebody, even if I tried to body feint them with just left trigger, never mind holding left and right for fast jockey. I think that's really been improved exceptionally well. I hated the patch at first, but then when I got to grips with it, I was like, this is much, much better. And I'm also blessed in defense because I have Pacho and Kanate, which if you can learn them, it's good. A prime example, those two, not to go off subject a little bit, of having people on roll. Pacho's on Defender Plus. I had Kanate on Defender, doesn't have Defender. Wasn't very good. A lot of bounce backs, a lot of problems with him. I put him on ball playing defender. He's become phenomenal.
Isn't he plus on that as well?
Yes,
because I've recently purchased him literally this morning, and I know because we had discussions over Pacho and Kanate previously. The difference, as I said earlier, of like a 5k, 10k defender to that Kanate, who's only 42k, you really do feel the difference. And as you were saying just then, being able to use a player who can lean in on someone else really does make a difference this year. I do feel like as an attacker, balance and agility does matter as well.
Yeah, and he's huge. He's 195 centimeters.
Yeah.
Pacho's not very tall, but he's very wide. So they make a good combination. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And I've found post patch more enjoyable than pre patch. What about you, Tom? Did you feel any difference, or was it a learning curve for you?
Yeah, so initially, before the patch, I was only really ever conceding like one goal, maybe two goals a game. For the start of the game, that's really, really good because obviously we're still finding our feet. After the patch, I have found there's more games where, and I know Bertie's the same, I was live talking to him. Gav, I was talking to him in a party chat as well. And there was some odd games where it would be like, oh, I've conceded 4 or 5 here, but I've scored 6 or 7. There are some games where it's really, really open. But again, I'll go back to it. As soon as I've invested more coins into my team and got that bit more quality, it has dropped back down to maybe 1 or 2 goals a game now, while still scoring quite a few. I've had real success. We're still talking about like maybe kind of our own paths to success in a way. I've been working with the 4-1-2-1-2 diamond, and I've really, really tried sticking with that and learning that, which is normally a formation that I'd use near the end of the game. But I've gone out the blocks with it this year because initially before the patch, and it's the same for pro clubs, which I'm sure we can discuss later, I felt like pace wasn't that much of a thing. Like, as long as you can get the ball to feet and drive the ball, I think driven pass, what was it, ping pass plus is incredible, which I think you said was about the beta as well. Really, really good early on, having those fast, agile players. So being able to use that ping pass plus in a diamond specifically gets past pace in itself. You don't need the fastest of players. My wide centre mids at the moment are McAllister and Missy Bokern's Foundations. Absolutely unreal. They're ripping people apart. I'm in Div 4 now. I haven't played loads. I've been mainly doing squad battles and clubs and whatnot. But in terms of my own success and the path I'm trying to take with that is to go with that diamond, as well as I'm trying to think of the other formation that I'd used. Oh, the 5-3-2. Yeah, the 5-3-2 is another way of playing. Again, kind of central, but it gives a little bit of width with those wing backs. Again, ping pass plus is absolutely incredible. And I've actually found headers are, I don't know about you guys, headers aren't that good this year in terms of going for goal unless you have a precision header. I've been mainly using the tall strikers, your Thurams, your Zekos that have come out just to knock it down. What are your thoughts? Have you found any success with formations or players specifically? What are your thoughts?
I don't know about you, Ryan, but mine was less a path to success and more falling down the cliff face, hitting every rock, and eventually reaching out and grabbing a tree and hanging by my ass, which is what I found with the 4-3-3. I have played different formations. I found great success with them, but as I have packed players, I have changed my team. So I'm one of those people that will change their team based upon the players, not have a rigid formation and be like, oh, you don't fit, you're on the bin. So having packed Kvaratskhelia, I have to play with wingers. I have to play with wingers up top. So I ended up using the 4-3-3. And what I found was that having that central CDM, like somebody like a Gravenberch, not a Rodri, a real like pace, fast, like a Rottweiler. Like or he's gonna chase you down, and he's gonna get you. And when he does get you, he's gonna win it. He's been so good at that for me. And then what I've done is I've partnered them with two roaming playmakers in Fernandez and Rodri. Now Rodri, in my opinion, is a complete waste at CDM. The man in midfield, he's got 80 shooting. His ability to get off a pass is unrivaled. He can have two people tackling him at the same time, and the ball will get to you. I don't know how it happens, but it does. On the other side to that, you've got Fernandez, whose ability to dribble in the box is a bit broken, and his shooting in the box is guaranteed goal. I've then paired that with I've got the Korean striker Chabong. I can't remember his full name. Cha. He's now been relegated to right wing, where he is doing incredibly well. 86 pace is maybe I don't know what it is with him, but he feels a lot faster than he is. And then I packed Kane, which led me to sort of having to adapt my game into having a striker up front. So to come back to what you were saying, I've actually gone to a complete free-form, versatile fallback, roaming midfielders, roaming wingers, support striker, passing game. And all I'm interested in doing is just waiting for you to make a mistake. And as soon as you make a mistake, if it's Kane, he's gone and you're not catching him because you've got to catch up to him at full speed. And if the mistake doesn't come, I stay in possession, which frustrates people. I think versatile wingbacks have really changed the game. And I actually want to hand this one over to Ryan because Ryan said something. I'll quote him so he can remember. They just made fullbacks better. That was what you said. I remember you saying that about them specifically. So what's kind of been your path to success in how you've been playing and the players you've got and how they've impacted your style of play?
Okay, so first things first, if we go this from a formation perspective, I started with a 4-1-2-1-2 as well. If you haven't seen it, there was a fantastic set of tactics up on the EAFC Frenzy Twitter. They are incredible. I think they're the best tactics I've personally used this year. However, like Doc, I packed somebody that forced me to deviate from that. Can't really complain, but
It's Mo Salah, isn't it?
it is Mo Salah.
Yeah. I knew it. I knew that smirk, that he should have won the Ballon d'Or glint in your eye.
No, I think Dembele deserved it. That's a separate conversation. But yeah, so I don't often. I'm very sort of stuck in formation, but on this occasion, I was like, okay, this is too much of a jump to ignore. So I've played around with a few formations. I'm currently using a 4-1-4-1 to quite some success, which really threw me for a loop. And I was like, wow, I would never, ever have picked this formation up before. But it came about because of the fullbacks. So I looked at the 4-1-2-1-2 tactics Tom made, and I looked at, right, what do I enjoy about this? Why does it work? And to some degree, how can I replicate it? So what I did is I looked at the tactic. I looked at it when you go into the screen for custom tactics where it shows you on the ball, off the ball. And I looked at the shape it held on the ball. And I thought, okay, it doesn't matter too much my starting position, but can I loosely, using that as a skeleton, replicate that shape? Because that shape works for me in possession. So how do I do that? And for the first time ever, that was only possible because you could do something other than set your fullback to defend. This is the first year you can actually play wing backs and not be horrifically punished at the very top level. The bit that I've loved is versatile fullbacks, which I know is similar to the fullback defend, but it's a more sort of balanced version of. That feels so good in game because it's a little bit further up and inverted ever so slightly, and it funnels everything into the middle. And in the 4-1-4-1, I think this year so far, of any formation I've come across, the most useful thing is a central holding DM.
Yeah.
All the good tactics I've seen, that seems to be the one sort of sticking point across all of them. I'm sure there are tactics out there that don't operate with that, but a lot of the successful tactics I've seen have that holding DM sat right in the middle.
If not one, they have two.
Yeah, DM seem to be a huge, huge feature of this game. And I don't know whether that's because everyone's a bit frail defensively and maybe we'll move away from that as the game progresses, possibly. But the versatility of fullbacks, not just the versatile fullback role, but the fact you can play wing back or false back or whatever and not be punished opens up so many new possibilities. And the 4-1-2-1-2 couldn't be more different from the 4-1-4-1. And yet, in possession, I was able to recreate something similar that worked for me with the players I wanted to include, like Salah. And the takeaway I had from all of that, other than fantastic, we can actually use a variety of fullbacks this year, rather than just stick in Reece James or Dumfries or whoever had fullback plus plus there. We can use all these other cards like Alphonso Davies, who is incredible. But more importantly, how refreshing it is that there are different formations that work. Because last year we were all at the mercy of 4-2-1-3 the entire year. And it's still good. You can still use it now. Take nothing away. But it's not a be-all and end-all. And that's so, so nice.
I feel like with the 4-2-1-3, the people who use it are so used to being aggressive that you just tear them apart with passes. Like if they're coming with a two-man midfield and I'm coming at you with a three, like I'm going to pass it round you, and eventually your centre backs are going to have to deal with my striker and wingers, and it's so hard to play offside this year. So hard. Like it's almost pointless. Like you're better off just marking your man than trying to catch people offside. And that's probably something I picked up from pro clubs taking into the real game was that like there's no point in trying to hold and catch people out because as soon as they're gone, they're gone. Jessica Naz will tear you up if she gets past you. You are not catching her. You know, it's that kind of player. And talking about versatile fullbacks, one of the things I've really enjoyed is that I've got Hincapi on the left and I've got James SBC on the right. And I sometimes will go forward with James and Hincapi will stay back.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he just tucks in a little bit. And then when they counter, when my right centre back goes over, the only thing that's kind of left is the left back position, which has now become a centre back. So it works, and it works well, definitely. And coming back to you, Ryan, in terms of like strikers, have you you know, I was going to actually say they're the most important player on the pitch, but they're not, because a good CDM is rarer than a striker in real world football. Like so, but with a striker, what roles have you used, and have you been surprised by anything?
Um, from a forwards perspective, advanced forward still feels like the strongest, in my opinion, or just the most well-rounded. What I was really impressed with, and again, I'm not trying to sort of constantly come back to it, but that 4-1-2-1-2 I think has Poacher in it. Um, and last year would never have played Poacher, didn't have a need to, it didn't fit, just wasn't as good, so why would I use it? And actually, it was really, really powerful this year. It still had to have the role plus. I think that's still going to be important all throughout the year. And I know you alluded to it both earlier, that having that player set on their role makes a huge difference. And I do have to agree, which has been a little tricky at the start of the game. But I've really enjoyed using a variety of forwards and not feeling like I've been hamstrung. Up until today, and we'll talk about it later, I've been using Ollie Watkins, who is a very bang average striker, but I've smashed out the daily tournament. And I know that part of that is skill as well, and there are other sort of factors to consider. I would never be using Ollie Watkins at this point before. I'd have been like, oh, I have to use someone pacier and sweaty if I can't afford something better already. You know, I would have had to have gone, right. I'm picking a very old fashioned example now, but it would have been a Luis Muriel or a Nilmar,
Yes,
going really far back, you know?
you really feel.
Um,
Hatto and Wellington.
Exactly. So you picked a player like, right, I can't afford to buy the best striker out there, so let's go and buy somebody really cheap and overpowered.
Yes, I
Um,
need somebody from the Russian league that's Ivorian.
yeah.
Bring me one of them.
But it's just been really refreshing, really. The fact that I'm not hamstrung to meta cards, I don't feel like I need to pursue the absolute top tier to even compete, and that there is a genuine skill gap. And if I'm not on board with that, I need to be, and it's no one else's fault but my own. I can't sit here and blame the fact that I'm not running Isaac Haaland, etc. Yes, that is a factor. Let's not take it away. But actually, you are perfectly capable of beating people with very average teams if you are sort of mechanically sound at the game.
Seru Girasay will fuck up your day. He will.
He's
He'll
phenomenal.
disrespect that card. You'll see the 72 pace, and you'll be like, "Why is he playing him?" And then you find out he's
But
a
we've all
monster.
mentioned it already. We've mentioned different, like 3 or 4 different names have come up. In previous FIFAs,
Yeah.
that's been down to 1 or 2. You've already mentioned Naz. You've already mentioned Garassi. I've mentioned Ollie Watkins. Kane is another one as well. Those are 4
Yeah.
completely different strikers who are in no
Yeah.
way the same stylistically or even in game.
Right, but almost like Naz is a great system player. So if you are going to play with a cam, her on a poacher is just perfect. Um, if you're going to play an advanced forward, a shadow striker can do okay with it. But I found shadow striker to be pretty nerfed this year. Like it's almost not. It's not what it was.
Yeah.
It does not play the way that it did. To throw it back to you, Tom. In terms of strikers, what have you found from the players you've used? And for example, I've been really surprised that advanced forward on support has been so effective.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would do anything, but with a lone striker, it's so versatile, as the title says. But it really has been. So, what have your experiences been with that?
Yeah, so I know you just said you've played with that like one striker, but I haven't really moved away from playing with anything other than 2, which is really weird because every year I'm a solo striker through and through until like the very end game. I found much more success this year with strikers that are 6 foot and over. Lautaro Martinez being one that's obviously shorter, but I mean he leaps like a salmon, so he's basically 6 foot. I've used Thuram, Dzeko, Ekatike, Isaac, and all of those are like 6'1", if not more. And I'm finding, like you said earlier, with these strikers, when you play them through, if someone doesn't have like a battering ram of a centre back who can kind of barge them off, like a Canate, like a wide Pacho, you're having a bit more success with those now. And there's different ways to finally use these cards as well, because generically every year, if you've got a striker that's 6'2" or 3, especially at the start of the year, that might as well just be fodder. But I'm finding a lot of success with, especially since the patch, although that Ryan alluded to earlier, low drivens were initially patched and they weren't as good. I found if you have players with even the base or especially the plus finesse, if you do a low driven finesse shot, oh my God, they go in every single time. I'm having a lot of success at the minute with Isaac, who's got finesse plus, and you can literally just barge your way through, run to the edge of the box, cut in and just finesse it, whip that ball into the side netting. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I'm having a lot of success with the bigger strikers this year, and long may that continue. We said earlier patches, haven't really done too much. I hope it stays this way as well, because I feel like there's a good balance finally. Having Thuram and Martinez really does complement each other. Funnily enough, they play with each other in real life, so yeah, you'd hope they would. But again, moving someone like a Dzeko in there, in my opinion, not as good as Thuram because of the pace, but having a large presence of a striker with a little bit of pace, so Ekatike as well, really is working well for me. So again, I don't know who you guys are playing with up front, but I know, Doc, you mentioned that you've got Kane. Today I've got Kane in one of those 77 plus double upgrades, and I'm like, right, he's now in my third gauntlet side because we need 3 squads. And I was going to ask you actually when you mentioned him earlier.
Right, so it's a bit of a puzzle because obviously the pace isn't there. He's not going to get the ball, do a move, go. But his passing is brilliant. So he's able to pick the ball up, lay it off, and go, which is great for through balls. He's clinical in the box. But what I found is that as soon as the ball came to him anywhere near the box, I would just hold left trigger and try and just move forward. And he has that new play style, like an enforcer type of thing that enables strikers with it to be able to shield the ball better. As soon as I started using that, a ball in the box, it didn't matter who was marking him. I was getting a shot off, and he's got finesse plus. He's got, I think, quite a few play styles, including incisive pass. He's very, 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 very good, very different, but very good. Great lone striker. I could see him being a great strike partner, almost like if you had a target man that played false nine, he plays within those lines. Like he goes deeper than a false nine, but he will come and pick the ball up. In the box, clinical, both feet. And yeah, you really feel his presence on the pitch. If you've got wingers that are effective, he draws a lot of attention, especially after you've scored. If you haven't scored, they'll generally disrespect him, leave him alone. They'll body up to him. And as soon as anybody bodies up to him, all you've got to do is play a through ball, and his attack positioning is better than their defensive awareness every time. And he just goes. And when you get through, you can finesse on the right foot across goal. You can trivela it. You can do all sorts, whatever you want to do. He plays very well with wingers who are goal scorers. So like Kvaratskhelia is on one side, Charles on the other side. Charles' attack positioning gets him into great positions, and Kvaratskhelia is just a beautiful player to use. He just glides across the grass. So if you can get used to shielding the ball in the box, but not in like the way where like all I can do is lean back, but in a more kind of like use your elbow, get past the man and shoot. He's really good at that. And considering that the player I had there before him was Char, they're chalk and cheese, because one of them is like a big traditional number 9, and the other one's kind of like a more of a strike partner to somebody like Kane, not necessarily the guy you'd want up front. And I've found that since moving him out wide, he isn't as consistent as Kane in the box, but he is such a threat out wide that he just draws attention. And I think that's become a big part of like the tactical game plan, is drawing people's attention away from either major threats or people not understanding how the game works and getting away with stuff multiple times, and then probably blaming the defending because they went, because they slid in, missed, and I just walked through.
Well, this kind of brings me on to like the next point I was going to ask you. So obviously you've informed me of Cade now, and I can't wait to use him. He's not a card that, say, I would have bought off the market. So it's nice when you do get that odd random pack pull where you go, right, this is a card I had no plan on using. But as you said with your Kvaratskhelia, as Ryan said of his Salah moving formations, now I'm going to use this card and really, get to know how else I can play the game. And it kind of makes me think about, I'm glad I've got him. I wouldn't have bought him, but I packed him. Maybe it was from a reward, maybe it was from an SBC. And that kind of brings me on to the thought of like, what are your thoughts on the new reward system that they've got? Because coins are scaled back. Packs don't seem to be as, big packs that you used to get all the time now. So, I mean, the question I'm going to put forward to both of you boys is, what are your thoughts on the lack of coins or the change of rewards? Do you think this is a new EAFC cycle that we're going to have now?
Ryan, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so multifaceted question. I'll do my best to condense it into one answer. The first thing I'd like to point us towards is the fact that initially EA didn't get it right. They did drop a 100k pack way too early, and there was a understandable and correct sort of clapback from the community. Different to every other year, and it's too early to sort of say with any sort of certainty. But for the first time, we had a response, and it was immediate. Was, do you know what? We hear you. Yeah, upon reflection, that was probably wrong. And maybe with enough pushback, there is a little bit more community engagement this year. There is a skeptical side of me as well that looks at it and thought, was it an easy win on their part? Was it sort of throwing it out there to reel it back in, to make it look like they were listening? Time will tell. But for now, you have to take it at face value without any other evidence and assume that it was, them listening to the community on this occasion. In regards to the coins onto the market and that side of things, I'm loving it. It has slowed trading up, if I'm being honest, which is a little bit difficult, I'll be at the same time, but I quite like it because it feels as though, for the most part, it's keeping everybody's teams closer together. Yes, even when we played the other night, there were a few sort of mega teams. You're always going to get that. There will always be whales in any title or any monetized title. Doesn't matter whether it's FIFA or some sort of trading card game. There will always be those people. You will never get rid of them by nature of monetization and having money to spend. But on the whole, I like where the market is. Most things feel attainable. Yes, rewards are low, but I think for now, I'm okay with that because the last few years, it's been breakneck with everything. And it felt like if you didn't play FIFA for a week or two, you were behind. I actually feel like I can put this game down. Not that I want to, but I feel like I can put this game down for a couple of days and come back to it, and I'm no worse for it. Rob will probably be able to inform us better of that when he comes back. But for me, as of right now, I've enjoyed being able to put the game down, go play something else. I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 4, and I don't feel like I've missed out. I don't feel like I didn't do squad battles this week. That's so imperative. How can I not do that? Well, actually, my team's just fine. It haven't put me back at all. I'm not behind the curve or anything like that. And that's felt nice as well. So actually, I'm really happy with the pace they've taken. I'm not certain that's what they'll continue to do, but I am really, really happy with where it currently is. So at this stage, it sounds sickening to say it, but props to EA.
Yeah, kind of. I think they played it right. I think that they made sure not to release anything big when people had either transferred points across or had thrown a load of money on at the start of the game, which led people into opening thousands of points worth of gold packs. Once people had essentially spent the points they'd either transferred over or had assigned to the game, they brought out these packs. So it was a choice of either you can have the team that you've got, you can spend the coins that you've got from the points that you've spent, or you can buy a new pack. But it's untradeable. But you might get some good players. And it's like, shit. Like, I really felt like they had me. I ended up spending an extra 40 quid on the game because I was like, I'm going to try these untradeable packs because I'm really hesitant about spending my coins because I've got market anxiety from last year. Whereas when people were buying players and then the next week it was like, what do you mean he's worth half the amount? So I got nervous about that. That made me think, oh, untradeable is probably the way forward because I'll probably get better rewards. But after I'd done that and I'd got the team that I'd got, I was like, I'm good. I'm good now. I don't need to spend any more money. My team's ridiculous. I've got every player that I've got 90 rated, 89 rated, 87 rated players. I've got a great defense, great goalkeeper. Everything's in place. I don't need anything to push this forward. And if I am going to push my coins into anything, it's going to be into evoing Sporting Lisbon players and not getting them into my focusing on what is the first team, which is essentially a team of untradeable players wherein I've made the best team I can with them. I think that the power curve thing is less about not giving people good stats. I think it's more about reducing pace and reducing the amount of play styles players have at the start of the game to make play styles that they introduce on other cards more desirable. So if you have I don't know if you've looked at your defenders. Most of your defenders have two play styles at most. Yes, some of them have more, but like I think Pacho has one, which is Jockey. Um, but they still play well. If down the line they bring somebody out with like more play styles that's more effective, then that's upping the power curve. But because it's not such a pace focused game this year, by keeping the pace of players down, they're going to be able to make players more desirable in the future. And whether that's desirable through SBCs or desirable through packs, I think that's what will be the power curve adjustment, play styles. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to jump on this. I don't know, it's happened during the pod, and I've glanced down at my phone once or twice. And you may have seen it in the leaks, etc. But Goretzka's dropped tonight, the flashback. Some of his stats are worse than his base card, but they've separated it by play styles. Just like you said there, they've given him
Really?
different roles and different play styles, and they've rejigged his stats so that he feels and plays slightly different in game, or I would assume that's how it would be. And it was just really interesting that
That's
you brought up that point because I thought, well, that's exactly what they've just done with Goretzka.
that's really smart because he will play different.
Hmm.
It's like they're trying to get a version of him from a few years ago, as opposed to just like, oh, here's the version of him now,
Yeah,
but
so
if
he
he
had
had
slightly
these
more
stats.
pace, less defending, different roles. I think they were more sort of progressive forward roles. They're more box to box
Yeah, he
rather
is.
than
Yeah.
whatever he's running now. And it's just really refreshing. And actually, we can look at the Cornerstones cards that have come out. I'm picking a really crazy example that people probably wouldn't have used. But if you look at Valverde's card, statistically, very little difference. There is a handful of plus ones. It's not even an inform upgrade. But
It's
they've
good. Well,
changed roles and play styles and things like that.
I appreciate that from them because I think that they've pushed too hard, too fast, too soon on many different games, and I think especially when it comes to this one, I think that rewards being what they are probably keeps things a bit more under control.
Yeah.
Making rewards untradeable again keeps the market higher for certain cards because a tradable version becomes so rare if somebody wants to get it. For example, Hincapi is an 83 rated fullback, but he goes for 30 plus K. Same with Frimpong. If you pack those cards, you will most likely pack them untradeable because of their rating. So the rewards I feel could be better, but that's just because I've become so used to the gluttony of it all. I've become so used to here you go, here's everything you want. And I guess when I think about times that were better in the game, we got less. And if they keep it fair like this and they keep tournament cards and things like this, it's going to be really good to see the best players get rewarded. And it would be nice to have players that are attainable for players who can't take it that far. Especially considering if you couldn't get Dolan, for example, but you made 3 semis, maybe you got like an 82 rated card. Maybe that's something they'll do in the future. But I feel like they've done that with SBCs as well, where they've made it very attainable for people to pick up semi decent players. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, so you said a few words there that kind of just switched my brain on to another part of the game that we obviously have all been enjoying. You said that we were able to have like a gluttony and just go straight in and access what we want. And that brought me on to all of us three because we've been playing clubs together, whether that's with the first exile or the development side. And it brings me to being able to build your player the way that you've always wanted it to be. And we don't actually have access to that anymore. You don't have that gluttony for going, right, I've got all these skill points. Let me go and, whatever. I'll have 99 pace, but the rest of my stats are pretty crap. Now we've got these archetypes. Now we've got these players that we need to build our game around. We have so many different positions now that we have to start from level 1 to level 50. And one of the main struggles that I've had with a different game mode, which is Pro Clubs now, is being able to build a player the way that I've always wanted to, because we now have to do a skill tree still, but it's kind of at the detriment of what play styles that we can have. So I'm all for all this change that we've got from EA in terms of being able to build the pros the way that we want them to be. I just wanted to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on, as we go from this whole gluttony of accessing what we want to another game mode now in Pro Clubs, what are your thoughts on the changes that they've made there?
I think what they've done with Pro Clubs is made it much more accessible to the person that has never played it. They can come in and they can look at a series of archetypes that have example players, and those example players will give them an idea of how they will want to play. I think that because of that, when you enter into a Pro Club scenario, you have these prompts that tell you where you should be putting your points to build a player like Nemanja Vidic, for example, which is kind of what my build is more like. And I think that through making it more accessible and making it multifaceted, so for example, if you get to level 50 and it was like the old ways of just being able to reassign your points, you could just be anything you want at any time, which is great. But also, there's something nice about having a separate player that you can have that's completely different from the one you're using. You might want to build a 5'8" central midfielder that spins on a sixpence, that kind of player compared to a 6'5" centre back. I think that Pro Clubs is accessible now to a lot more people, and I think that the archetypes make the game much more interesting because it limits the ridiculousness of certain aspects of players. That you start off with a baseline that is the one for that position. Like they sold me on Maldini, but to get Maldini, I've got to do some crazy stuff to some of my points. That's just not going to happen. Block is not coming to the club. Um, but yeah, Pro Clubs is probably the best experience I've had on FUT this year, and I've had a lot of fun playing Ultimate Team. It's probably the most fun you can have on the game because you're not playing it by yourself. It's fun to be cheered on by people. It's fun to have your friends encourage you. It's fun to encourage other people. There's a real sense of unity. It's not you against the screen as it is every game. It's you and 9 or 10 other people who are coming together to achieve a singular goal, like you do in sport. And the emotions that you feel are no dissimilar to those that you feel in a real game. You will get anxiety if you go into a game rusty. You'll make mistakes. It's like it's the best game mode, and I've been playing centre back. But you can choose if you want the camera to be locked to your player, or you can have it just fuck off from your player, and you can't see your guy. And don't know what I can't do it. I lost my mind. I was like, I need to know what he's doing. So I have a lock to camera. So in terms of what happens up front, I don't really know. So I'm going to put that one to the two Pro Club geniuses who happen to run one of the most successful pro clubs teams in the world, EAFC Frenzy. Ryan, you have played it a lot. Not this year. Obviously, you have this year to get to level 50, but you've played it a lot historically. How have you found this year compared to previous years?
Okay, so the first thing I really like that you said actually was that they've almost shepherded people into the archetypes. There'll be a lot of people that sit there and don't like that, and I can understand it. I was very apprehensive at the start. However, as time has gone on, I like the fact that it's protected the mode a little bit, because what was happening before is people would pump silly points into crazy stats and make these ridiculous players and builds, and that was their prerogative and fine, and there is a merit to that to a degree, but it created a very chaotic mode, especially when you went online and you were grinding solo or didn't have a team. It would make it very, very hard to actually reach a certain level without competent people around you. So I think it's done really, really well at introducing people to pro clubs effectively. I think that's the best version of it that there's ever been in that department. In addition to that, yes, there's question marks over the monetization side of it. I don't feel it's that aggressive. It doesn't feel completely necessary, and there does seem to be an organic way to earn club store points. So I don't mind it so much. Again, if I'm being direct about it, I'm more against it than for it. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's been game breaking, which is, again, another plus. Pro clubs is pro clubs. The feelings and everything that comes with it, I think, will forever be there. While pro clubs exist, those emotions, those feelings will always be present. It is that camaraderie. And being really honest, I've been so excited to get your perspective on this, Doc. I came into today's pro club thinking, me and Tom speak about this at length all the time. We know where we stand. We enjoy it. But more than anything, I was so excited to come here and get the perspective of somebody who's not never played pro clubs, but has never been part of a pro clubs either at a high level or at a level where it's taken more seriously or it's more organized. So I don't want to cop out, but I almost want to bounce it back to you and just, as a general blanket term, what has your experience been so far? How have you felt about it? And now that you hopefully have a bit more context to some of the stuff we've spoken about with you both on and off screen, your thoughts about pro clubs now?
Well, I think it's the best game mode. I think it's pretty unrivaled. Even if you are going into a drop-in game by yourself, and there's 4 other people, generally speaking, those people will want to play football. There might be a few ball hogs, but ultimately they'll want to play. And you get to experience what it's like to be one player on a pitch. If you're playing in a specialist position, sometimes 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 against you, where you have to play football. It literally is like the real game. You have to read it. You have to pay attention to where people are. You have to pay attention to what the consequences of you being out of position are. There's a lot of like risk element to it. So like you might want to run forward and win a header, but if you don't get to that ball in time, you've left a giant hole behind you. And that kind of crushes you because you are responsible for the team conceding. And it hurts because you don't want to be that guy. But then in the same game, you might save 2 or 3 goals and nobody's ripping you apart for missing a tackle, you know? And I think that having people who know how to play the game so well coach me in a game made me a much more competent player because I got to see another centre back and the way they played, bit more aggressive, bit more direct, and I was like, okay, yeah, so I can be like that. It's a timing thing. It's not an aggression thing. It's he knows when to time himself to come in for tackles. So I found myself becoming hooked to the point where like I've got a level 41 pro.
And you're about me hitting level 50, and you're at 41, and I'm meant to be the expert.
Andy's got quick step. That's ratty. Yeah, and I started off with like thinking I could get away with things, and then afterwards I reset my archetype points and just made him into a pure defender. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm disabled. I can't play. I can't do sports. You know, so for me, it is like I get to play football.
And I
Like
just want to
it's
jump in
the
there.
wildest thing. Yeah, go on, man.
And you alluded to it and you've spoken about it, but I actually was really, really interested by something you said off screen a couple of days ago. You had the opportunity to play alongside Mitch. Now, I don't know if Mitch has any socials. If you do, fella, I'd point them in your direction. But Mitch is our left centre back. Um, and my God, the dude is a colossus. I know, Doc, you had nothing but good words to say about him playing next to him.
Oh yeah,
But it
yeah.
was so interesting to me to watch you play next to him the first night. And to be fair, I thought you did really well. You know, when you're accounting for the fact you were new coming into that and it's a new game, etc., I thought actually you did okay. You held your own. But then playing with you, I think 2, 3 nights after, you were a different animal. And I was like, holy hell, he's really good. What?
I've been playing a lot. I don't know if I'm good, but I've been playing a lot.
He's competent too. Like, oh shit, this guy can play. And not only can this guy play, this was like, he's actually good enough to pop into the first team as and when needed. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that you're going to displace Mitch or Lucy because he's a very consistent player at an extremely high level. But the fact you, within 2 or 3 days, had come back and I was like, whoa, the immediate and obvious improvement really threw me, but in like a good way. I felt like, oh, good for Doc. I was really happy for you. And it just sort of that second-hand pride and that camaraderie that comes with clubs that you cannot replicate in any other mode.
It's being open. It's packing your ego at the door. It's being humble that you don't know the game mode. It's coming in and listening to people's advice. It's when you said to me after the first game, "How much? What's your acceleration?" 70. Okay, be really good if you had quick step. So for the next 2 days, I was just grinding, reset my archetype points, got quick step. Didn't bother with trying to get like anything else, just defensive focused. Got the height and weight thing to the point where I won't even post the height and weight of my player because if people don't know, if they did, they'd be that tall. I've got it down to like the smallest negatives. Um, it it is addictive. I will say that. But you've got to be open to what people around you are doing. You've got to be open to what they're saying, and you've got to take the advice on board. And if you don't do that, I imagine it's a frustrating experience because everybody wants to go out there and build their pro the way they want. But that doesn't necessarily make you the best team player. And I think I learned that. I was like, okay, you might have got things on your pro that you like, but they're not effective for the team, so that's really a big thing. I think that one of the biggest takeaways that I'll have, and I've taken into playing with the other lads as well, because one of the things I did want to say is that like it's not so much that there's a first team and a second team, because the first team isn't just the best players, it's a community of lads, friends. So it's friends who play together, and if one of those friends can't play, then fantastic. But it is also a group of friends, and I want that team is got a mentality about it that is bigger than its skill base. I think. I particularly one game we were 3-1. We were 3-1 down and came back to win 4-3, and they were a good team. There was 15 minutes to go, and it was it wasn't angry, nobody was shouting, it was just play the ball on the floor, pinged passes, play it into feet, keep it simple, we'll score goals, don't worry, Ryan will find you, okay, don't worry about it, Tom will win the ball, don't worry about it. And it really, that intensity when you take it into the other 11 helps them, because you're like, come on, we've got to do this, we've got to do it right, we've got to lead, we've got to, and you end up having a voice that's louder than you expect, and you end up taking, it's almost like when you're playing with the first 11. I said this the other night, like the first game I played the other night wasn't with the first 11, it was with the other lads, and I was like, I didn't say a fucking word. because I had a bad game, man. Yeah, I had a bad, not a 5 rating, nothing like. I've never had below a 6, but it was a bad game. And I was quiet as anything. And I made 3 clearances in the next game, and I was like, push up, 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 up. Honestly, I was like a foghorn. And it was like the better I got in game, the louder I got. And I think that that's the pro club's effect. That like it doesn't matter who you are. If your personality is what it is, people are going to bounce off that. People aren't going to be like, "Oh, he's a bit gobby for somebody who's playing his first game." It's like Gav was like, "Thanks for telling me that I'm playing everyone on side. Like I needed to know I needed to push up. Like thank you. Like and whether people are quiet and calm like you two guys or loud, you are calm, Ryan. You're very calm. Somehow Ryan's gift on pro clubs is this: he can win a header off anyone, and his pro is a midget. He can honestly, anytime Mashi, who's the goalkeeper, who's world class, anytime Mashi gets the ball, it's like left. The ball goes in. There can be a 6'5" centre back. That dude is not getting that ball, and I don't know how you do it. I don't want you to reveal how you do it either, because let's just keep that one quiet. Yeah, no, shh. Don't tell anyone. But yeah, pro clubs is probably the most fun you can have in FC on a consistent basis. I think I said to Tom, pro clubs at its worst is like weekend league at its absolute best when the connection's great. The other guy is not a meta rat. He's a footballer like you, and you just have a great game of football. And that is like pro clubs at its worst because
Yeah.
at its worst you lose a game, but you lose together.
Yeah.
And I think that is what drives the motivation to be better or to go and put time in or to be the only person in the club playing games because you're like, I want to make my team better. I want to take Steve and all them lads and Luke and Jordan, and I want to make that team the best team it can be, you know. And if I don't go out there and if I don't train and get better, then I can't say anything to other people.
Yeah.
All I can, if I go out and do it, I can just say to him, it's really worth getting to level 40 because you get these extra play styles, or you can do this with it or that with it and make your player exceptional. So yeah, I'm grateful for being introduced to pro clubs. Obviously, very grateful to Rob because without Rob, I wouldn't have met you guys. So I'm really grateful for him introducing me to you guys. And pro clubs, if you're not playing it, you're really not getting the best out of the game. And if you need people to find to play with, we have a casual team that we play random nights. You would be more than welcome so long as you're over 18. If you're not, tough shit. That's it, tough shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. They get enough stuff, man. Do you know how many safety caps I have to use because of those shits? Fuck under 18s. Let's go back to the old days, man. Let's take the warning labels off and roll them dice. Come on.
Yeah, God forbid we have to put "don't drink" on bleach cartons and things like that.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just, Darwin this shit.
I think that's just a wider problem
Oh, they
altogether.
Yeah.
I was
I'm old. I'm old. They're young. I envy their youth.
I was just really interested to get your perspective. And Tom and I have spoken separately, and we've put a lot of our thoughts across on multiple episodes for pro clubs, and it was just really refreshing for me actually. And that was the thing I was really looking forward to today, was getting your perspective because you've seen both sides now. You've been sort of the other side of the curtain, so to speak. And I've just loved watching the development team kick on in their own little way, and I can see that Tom feels the same way, so I'll pass to him.
Yeah, I think kind of the thing that, Ryan and I have spoken to off camera here is that, specifically looking at your game, looking at other people who've come through, say, a developmental stage or just filling in for the night. I think, and I'm sure you'll agree, Doc, like there's just a certain calmness about it. It's the trusting of each other in the team as well. Like you said, we were 3-1 down with 15 minutes to go. We win 4-3 because we trust each other. We know we've been in these kind of situations before. And now it's like it's a big job of yourself now because obviously you're going to be playing with us this evening, and obviously you're a very big part of that other, the more casual side as well. And you're able to bring that kind of that mentality and that kind of I don't want to say that kind of like standard that you have to set yourself, but you don't go and log on to lose, do you?
Got that
you don't.
in.
No, and you don't ball watch either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ball watching will kill you in pro clubs.
Absolutely.
Like, absolutely. But yeah, what would be your experience of the archetypes this year, Tom? Because I haven't asked you about that. Because you play a CDM role. I imagine there's a few different kinds of CDM that you can be. What one did you go for?
So I believe it's called the Maestro, or what's the Tony Cruz one? It's after him. Basically, I'll call it the Tony Cruz archetype. On reflection, when I've been playing as a DM, I wish I went with the Michael Essien one. I think you get anticipated and pinged on that as well, I think.
Yeah.
So, upon reflection, I probably, once I've maxed out this one at level 50, I will go back to build this one as well, just so I can kind of assess kind of who we've got in the team on the night and go, right, okay, I know tonight my midfield partner's a bit more progressive on the ball and they like to venture forward. Okay, I'll go as this more defensive archetype. And again, like Ryan said earlier, initially it's kind of daunting. You're going, well, why can't I build the player that I want? But actually, looking back on it now and looking at all these different archetypes, it can only be beneficial for your team. As I said, we have so many different people who come in every night. Yourself now coming in tonight at centre-back, I know I can expect a header being won from you straight into me into the midfield. So I need to use a player base or an archetype where I know I've got the best stats in ball control, first touch, so I can receive those from you. Whereas other nights where I can maybe have Lucy at the back, I know he might play a pinged pass out wide. So then I've got to be a bit more agile to be able to move into those pockets of space. Archetypes have really allowed for myself, again, you can only speak on your own experiences, it's really allowed me to open up and go, right, what's good for me, but what's best for the team, and kind of assess it from there. I'm really, really liking it. One thing I don't know yet, and again, any listeners who are really into their pro clubs, I really miss having certain playstyle pluses. I don't know if you can just choose another one, but I really have been using the Deadball Plus, and I'm missing that from my game at the moment. And I know that that's such a big part of our team. In those matches where it's kind of been the 0-0s, the 1-1 nitty-gritties, I know I've always been able to swing a ball in from a corner, back post to someone like yourself, Mitch, Lucy. So I'm kind of missing that at the minute. So that's my little niggling feel. I'd like to be able to have my own Playstyle Plus and not just have the Archetype one. But again, any viewers, any listeners, if there is a way of doing this, please let me know, because I'm really, really missing the Deadpool Plus.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Is it even selectable?
So I've got the base, but I'm starting to think now, are they going to release different kind of archetypes throughout the year now?
For third play style.
Yes, yeah. Are they going to do that? Or are they going to now give you another set, say like season 2 of the next season progress to do with Ultimate Team? Give each other a month to feel the game out now. Are they then going to release a new archetype of who's a free kick specialist? Beckham, Juninho, one of these. Pirlo, say. Are they going to now go, right now, guys, not only are we going to extend level 50 to level 75, we've also got this new archetype where you can kind of build your way around that. I'm praying that they do that. So please, anyone at EA, just release one so I can be happy.
They have said that they're releasing more levels.
The set piece.
That's it.
I don't think about such things. I just think about winning the ball and passing it. The one thing I do know about pro clubs is that my long passing is 50, and somehow I manage to hit the corners. I don't know how I do it. I'm just trying to hit it out, but it somehow finds a player. So long passing's glitched, I think, a little bit on centre backs. But yeah, I really think that archetypes have really helped people understand their role and understand their place in the game. And I think that Ryan has sort of made a great example of that when he was super excited about what whipped pass would do for your pro, because it gave you some additional stats in different areas.
Yeah, so the specializations, once you hit level 14, you hit the stat threshold for whatever it happens to be. It does tell you if you want this particular extra playstyle, or not extra, it replaces one of the playstyle pluses on your pro. And I went with Iniesta's, not because I have any great love for Barcelona or anything. I think Iniesta's incredible. But even with whipped pass plus, it's nice. It's not a necessity. I don't hit a crazy amount of crosses. But what I really liked about it was it said in the subtext, through balls, I think, from myself into teammates in the opposing half, they had an increase to, I want to say, ball control, balance, and finishing off the top of my head. And I'm like, that is a whole other category. That feels really, really important. I'll take the whip pass plus if it means I can have that.
Yeah,
So it's
I'd
really
like
helped, I
that.
think, people understand, like you said, their place in the team, but it's encouraged a more cohesive approach to pro clubs for randomers because they can come in, pick up an archetype, and understand that, okay, to get the best out of my archetype, I need to play this way. This is what I need to be doing. I know my role as a cam. I realistically know, I know we've joked about me winning headers, etc. I know that with that little bonus on now, I need to be the person hitting the assist, or rather, it's more beneficial if it's me. So it's pointless me going on ahead and trying to bag loads of goals and be selfish. The best way I can improve my game and the best way I can help the people around me is to drop deep a little bit and play that final pass in, rather than try to make it the one-man band approach, which we've seen in previous years.
Yeah, people do try that,
Oh, they still do.
and
They always will, but to a lesser
yeah,
degree.
people still. Yeah, I think so. A couple of things I wanted to touch on. First and foremost, like teammates. You can see why Lucy makes such a good partner for Mitch because you've got this really big, tough defender with this more mobile passing player, and that's a fantastic partnership. They really complement each other really well. When you were talking about archetypes and things like that, one of the things I've really enjoyed is that they will show you what stats you need to be like that player. So if you want to be Paolo Maldini, you need stats in this area. If you want to be Patrick Vieira, you have to have stats in this area. And I think that kind of guidance is important because, as we've seen with the Goretzka SBC today, that play styles and roles can make a huge difference to who you are as a player on the pitch. So, if you happen to be a centre back that had pressure, I can't remember what it's called, but the pressure resistance play style, you could literally just hold off people for ages and then play a pass out. But if you wanted to be a more aggressive and direct, then you'd have to make a choice at level 50 if you got there between, say, slide tackle plus. Um, um, you've also got block potentially. You've got Bruiser and Aerial Fortress. So it's like you're now into this decision making situation where if you you really have to make decisions, but your decisions are very very guided. It's not like Ultimate Team where it's just like here you go, drop a kid. It's like birds falling out of a nest. Ultimate Team and Pro Clubs is more like you're being guided. You're part of the flock. As you're part of the flock, you develop. And you learn more and more till you feel comfortable enough to be like, okay, I'm going to drop these stats because I feel like I can do this, and I'm going to up these stats because I want that play style. So yeah, I mean, again, archetypes have added that real grindable element to pro clubs that for me is a new thing. And one of the things I'm actually grateful to EA for is the XP bonuses that you get from the season pass, and you can buy from the store for coins, which are very very reasonable. If you play 50 games, you'll have more than enough coins to buy a couple of things. But those AXP modifiers, by the time you get to the end of this season pass, you'll be able to just take somebody straight away to like level 15 with just what you've got in your club. So that's exciting as well because it means that like as things move forward, you can pick a different player. Like I play centre back because I know defending very well, but maybe somewhere down the line I might be like, well, maybe I want to play a more progressive position, and I could build a more progressive player that would suit that play style. So it's really interesting to me that what the archetypes have brought because to me it's all new, and exciting and fresh. And it's not. I feel like when it's better to bring somebody in and train them than it is to bring somebody in trained. Like I feel like I've been trained with a fresh mentality where I don't know anything about it, and because of that, everything's exciting. And I'm really really enjoying it a hell of a lot. Um, Out of the archetypes then, is there any sort of I can't really name them, but like, do you guys have any plans to change positions to maybe have like a different player for a more adventurous thing? For example, Ryan, would you consider like maybe having a left midfielder slash left winger kind of, or
Yeah,
right winger?
funnily enough, that was probably the only thing I would look to do is a left mid, left winger to kind of build, purely so that, again, for the benefit of the team, we could run a different mode or formation or whatever you want to call it if we needed to. If my current build was ineffective in a game, that we could perhaps swap to say like a 4-2-3-1 or something like that, and I could play wider. Naturally, I drift left anyway, so from a gameplay perspective, it wouldn't change a great deal. I just like that with these archetypes now, it gives us something to grind for. Because previously in pro clubs, you hit level 100, which did take a while, don't get me wrong. But once you did, you were stagnant for ages and you were only really playing for the love of the game. And that's fine. There are those amongst us, myself included, who will happily do that. But for the wider community, it led to a dwindling population of pro clubs players in a mode that didn't deserve that, a mode that deserved more love. So I'm really glad to see that it has. In addition to that, again, with the whole monetization side of it, I was really, really worried when I first saw it that, oh no, we're going to be able to go straight to level 50 if people just buy their way to it. Yes, you can bump it along faster, but I know that you can't apply any of those instant XP gains past level 25, which I was really, really happy to
Yeah,
see. I was like, okay, cool. On some level, you're not going to be able to buy your way through the whole process. Yes, it will be made easier, but that's no different to Ultimate Team. So if we're going to sit here and slate pro clubs for it, then we may as well slate the whole FIFA model, because that's the
yeah,
way it's been since time immemorial.
yeah. Indeed, indeed. I sometimes I like so. For example, I don't know about you, Tom. The figures seem really large for the number of people playing pro clubs. I've logged into pro clubs at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning to knock out some games and found 400,000 players online. I've logged in and seen 1 million players online. So it's been really surprising to me that there were that many people. Are those bigger numbers than normal? Because I don't know. Or have you never been able to see the number of players online?
Yeah, so yeah, we've been able to see the number of people online. It's kind of hard to compare to this time last year, because I'm sure Ryan will remember as well. Pro clubs for the first like 4 weeks of last year was broken. So it was kind of just a game mode where it was just there, but XP really wasn't a thing. You wouldn't be able to like level up even though you've just been playing and completing matches. It would kind of crash. So people just kind of neglected it. But from what I did see, I think if the numbers are from what I remember, this time last year was about 220,000 people at those times you were saying. So for you to say you've now seen at 1 o'clock in the morning 400,000,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we're seeing a near double here of people experimenting in the pro club scene, which
Drop-in
fantastic.
games, Tom and Ryan were like this. Just
Yeah,
start, everybody else dropped in into a game. Come
yeah,
out, everybody quits into another game. Like there was no like, how long is this going to be? I'm waiting in a console pool.
yeah,
Is this going to be 5 minutes? What's going on? Every game went straight in. But please
fantastic.
go carry on. Carry on with what you were
Yeah,
saying.
it's just so nice to see people kind of jumping into it, and I've seen so many people interact with all three of us over Twitter, saying, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, or yeah, I've tried this build. What are your thoughts? How can you help me? Kind of thing. But also, like within our own Discord, shout out to all those new people who've joined us. I know was it Steve the other day has joined us. Really, really nice centre mid to be able to have in the middle of the park. I know we've had a few sessions together. Challam looks like he's going to be joining us. Dylan, Ethan have joined us on the wings. Jordan's joined us as well. It's so many people, even within our small community of EAFC Frenzy. We can see what 7, 8 people have now joined the pro club scene, and that's just our small group that we've got going. So, I'd have just been happy to see one person join the scene. So it is really, really promising. I just hope that they can stick around and understand and fully appreciate what clubs has got to offer this year.
I think that the most important part is to make sure that people feel a part of it.
Yeah,
If that means so, for example, obviously Rob's been away. Rob's in charge of the other team. It's been important to be online at 9 o'clock
yeah,
because Steve can't get on till 9 o'clock. But Steve is dedicated to playing. He wants to play. So it's one of those things where you would stick around for him, and then because you stuck around for him, other people were like, well, are you going to play another game? And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you've gone from everybody's logging off
Yeah.
to there's 6 of you
One more.
ready to go
We
into a
did
game.
this. We
Yes.
literally did this the other day. We were like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
won," and it was a scrappy win. And we went, "Well, yeah, we won, but you can't leave on that. We need like a 3-0." And then we just kept on going. Have you got one more in the tank? Because I can squeeze one more game. I can squeeze one more game.
Yeah, I
All
think
of a
we
sudden,
had
it was
someone. The
it
next
was like
game was like 3-0 in 20
12.
minutes.
Yeah,
I was so pissed that we lost the last game 4-3.
Yeah.
Right. And I was so pissed because I got an 8.9 in that game. We conceded 3 goals and I was so pissed. I was just like, fuck, just put the fucking ball in the net.
FIFA.
It gets you like that, man. It gets you like that.
It
It
does.
does.
It
It
does.
does. But it's a hell of a good game. And as we sort of bring the podcast to a close, as you guys know, we've been putting the video out in segments. So if you've sat through what will probably end up being the whole hour 30, hour 40, fantastic. If not, we're going to put these in segments that you can see on X and things like that. But let's talk about the European Super League. Which I think is probably the big major thing. So, as you can see, Tom has really long nipples. It's a disease. It's not his fault. They're not stiff. They dangle.
No.
So when he holds the shirt like that, he's just lifting up the nipples.
Yeah,
It's closed
brilliant.
on his back if you look closely.
Yeah.
Just
if I were
dated
you, we're
twin.
brothers.
Yeah. It's just like, whoa. No, it's where the fuck was I talking about? FC European Super League. Right. You guys, this has been a passion project. It's really active now. It's really going. You can see it in the Discord. People are posting evos, what they're going to do, players they've got. I'm getting trolled about not having the best midfielder in Portugal, which I accept because I don't, and things like that. So how is it all coming together for you, Tom? How's your Inter Milan side doing?
Yeah, I'd say really, really promising off the bat. We all know it was rigged. Obviously, I wanted a defensive
Yeah, it was
masterclass
rigged.
team.
You know it was
Yeah,
rigged.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But people can get their excuses in now, and then when we play, they can say, "Yeah, you're always going to win it. It's fine." Yeah, I've just gone, as I said earlier, 4-1-2-1-2, built the Serie A Inter Milan side. I've been so invested, not just about gameplay or building my squad, but actually watching Serie A football now in real life. I've said so many episodes in a row now. I've got all of the goals and yellow cards, everything pinged on my phone. So I saw DiMarco came off the bench, got an assist. I saw Lautaro Martinez got a goal to go 1-0 up, but Bastoni got the assist. So I'm now looking at going, right, what are all these ratings? Who's got man of the match? Who's going to be the team of the week? Who's got a chance? Just geeing everything up so that when Wednesday comes around and then nobody gets a promo card, I can sulk and say, fuck you, EA. But yeah, no, it's been a really good journey.
Exactly what you did, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That was me. That was me. So I was like, I bought Pedro Goncalves.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he's really good, and I'll put him into an Evo. And then I saw a leak of the Cornerstones team, and he was in it. And he was like 85 rated, nothing great.
Yeah.
And then when it came out and he wasn't in it, I was like, you motherfuckers,
You
where's the sporting card? I need it. I need it right now. It didn't come. And I'm like, I'm desperate for them. Like, I am going to be rinsed when it comes to sporting team of the week cards if they come out or anything else, because I'm going to be so hungry to buy them. I'm going to be all over competing with you.
Yeah.
Most of them. Team of the week cards are good again.
Yeah, team of the weeks. Team of the week, Liga Portugal.
Yeah.
Talking to midfielders, there was one. There was a very good one. And he wears a certain kit which someone's wearing right now. And he's a very smug fuck. So go on.
Yeah. Have you?
You couldn't possibly be me. No. No, I get it though. I've been really blessed so far. I'm in no place to complain. Obviously, I've got Porto. That's not obvious.
Yeah.
But week one, below Tom, I've set my phone to have alerts for Porto. I follow them on Twitter, everything now, even though everything's in Spanish and I'm having to put it through Google Translate. That's a separate issue.
Portuguese.
I said Spanish, Portuguese, even better.
Oh my God.
But
we apologise to anybody in
fuck
Portugal.
it, it's fine. Just leave it in there. Don't even edit it out. It's fine.
I'm not.
But straight away, I saw that Gabby Viega had a stormer of a game. I want to say it was a goal, 2 assists off the top of my head. And straight away, I was like, team of the week, team of the week, team of the week, team of the week, team of the week. And he got it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've already evoed him multiple times by adding like +1 passing, +1 dribbling, +1 this and that, etc. To the point now where I can make him up to an 85. But the problem I'm now having is there's a version of this which takes him to 84, which is actually better. But the problem is then I can't use that same Evo on another card I'm also got my eyes on. So I'm panicking a little bit trying to weigh it all up, but I'm looking at hopefully an 85 rated Gabby Viega week 1 or 2 that we're in. And it's a really, really solid card. Good play styles I've been able to add on. I've been able to give him ping pass, for example, which is huge for a cam. He's got good rolls. So instantly really excited. On the higher end of it, for the past and present, I've got Eder Militao in form, who feels really significant early on. And then if it wasn't done there, cornerstones come out, Luis Diaz, who is now... So I've got 2 really good premium options off the rip, and I was sat there like thinking, yeah, this is great, perfect. And I'm quite glad because Quaresma's not in the game yet, and I was really worried that he's going to have... I mean, he's going to anyway. He's going to have a really hefty price tag attached. But week 1, week 2 that we're in, and I was like, cool, I've already got 2 fantastic premium cards to chase. And even if I don't, I've got Gabby Viega, who I can latch onto an Evo and make really, really good, like he wasn't good already. For next to nothing, for 10k, I can go out and I can start Evoing this card. Other than him, I'm doing Nico Gonzalez at the minute, so I'm very painfully adding 1 defending, relentless, another 1 passing, another 1 shooting, intro to evolutions, and before long, I'm kind of hoping he'll look all right. But it's added such a new dynamic to the game, and I've loved it. And the one thing
I've got my team up on the screen behind the laptop because I'm like, yeah, I need to make sure I'm aware of everyone I've got.
That's going to be one of my Gauntlet go-to teams. If nothing else, if this tournament all goes to shit, I have a Gauntlet team up and running. But what I really, really liked, and it's bittersweet in some ways because this is a passion project for both Tom and I. A lot of effort's gone into it. And we put it out there on the basis that maybe FIFA wasn't going to be a good game. We did this ahead of time thinking, let's take ownership of this game because we don't have a lot of faith it's going to be very, very good. So it's bittersweet, but it's really, really positive to me that yes, we still have this and it doesn't diminish how we feel about it in any way. But actually the game is so good anyway that it's just added to it. It hasn't felt like a necessity. It's just another layer on what is already appearing to be a very, very good game. So I'm hugely excited going into this. And like you said, Doc, watching people put forward their silvers. I think you did it earlier today, actually.
I did. I've got a Georgian.
He looks so... Never heard of him.
He's called Kokorashvili. 74 rated, 72 pace, 71 shooting, 72 passing. Basically, whatever I take him to, those stats are going to go with him. And I think he can become a right little monster for me. And it's really weird because he has like set piece play style, long pass, and relentless on a silver card. And it's crazy. Like some of these silver cards have some play styles that others don't. But yeah, my team is set up. I've already got Ronaldo. I packed him. I've got Fernandez. I've got Trincao in training. I don't know whether to develop the Suarez card or not because I'm not too sure whether or not he's going to be worth it. Because I've got Bruno at cam. Trincao is going to be like a false 9 striker to go with Ronaldo's 4-1-2-1-2. I've got my keeper in training. I've got my centre backs. I've done the same thing you've done with Diamande, where I'm like +1 defending. Like, let's make this guy great because he has the craze. What pace does he have? 80 pace. And St. Just, who plays fullback now, has 92 pace. So I'm pretty well covered for speed at the back.
Well,
So it's a team that's definitely the Evos are going to make it a really good team, but it's already like, if I beat you with this, haha. Like that's how I feel about it right
the
now.
underdog
Like if I beat you
Yeah.
with this, how bad are you? You know?
Well,
Like
Doc, I just wanted to jump on here. I said it before we went live. I think I've got somebody you might want. So
Okay.
you've said Ronaldo's your striker, and that's fantastic.
Yes.
But if I remembered this correctly, that Victor Gyökeres used to play there.
Who?
Gyökeres, Arsenal's new front man. Not that they'll ever play the ball forward, but
The one who runs like he's wearing jeans.
No,
Big Victor.
either
never.
way, shortly before coming on this podcast, I completed
Hmm.
marquee matchups. I've not had a chance to play the game much. But who should come out but Victor Gyökeres tradable? So a nice 200 plus K. I've not sold him. I want to use him. But I came in here today thinking, I can't wait to tell Doc because fuck that guy. He ain't going to get him. Not for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. No, Gyökeres is funny because nobody knew who he was until the Portuguese started playing a high line. Um, nah, he's all right. He's all right.
Failed at Swansea. Failed at Coventry. Failed at
Yeah,
Brighton.
he's tin pot.
Tin pot.
If he can play left wing, maybe I might put him in. I might,
Yeah.
maybe if I pack him, I'll use him. But I'm not going out my way to get an Arsenal player. I just think I
That
played
actually
Joey.
sounds very bitter.
I've got I got Hincapi at left back, and I realised they play Timber at right back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you just play 4 centre backs.
And then 3 DMs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're the most banal
Well,
football
it
club
worked for
ever.
them today, so we can't say much, can we?
Yeah.
Well, United were outstanding the other day. Let's all have a round of applause for Bruno Fernandes. Thank you. Yeah, you really
He's in
don't
my
like
FPL,
hammering.
the dickhead.
Well, that's your fault for picking a
I
United
know.
player and thinking he's
My
going to
own
get
fault.
anything. He's fucking useless. Whole team's useless. Put him in the bin.
Doc's
Burn down Old
scribbling
Trafford. Let's
into his
call it a
chair here,
day.
just like, oh
Just
no.
fuck it. Fuck it. Let's get them dancing guys over. Let's put a coffin. Let's call it United. And let's just march it on down. And just have a good time, reminisce about the past, and just move on because we are dog shit.
But on the whole, back to the PNP, it's just added a really fun element to the game. It's been so nice, so refreshing. I'm playing Rush with players I would never have used. Nico Gonzalez. He's a bang average gold card, and suddenly I'm putting all these random Evos on him. It's given me a reason to play the game. I'm just so glad we're at a point at the moment where playing the game feels not only rewarding but genuinely fun. And if I have enough of
Addictive,
Ultimate Team, Pro Clubs is waiting in the wings.
right? That is the way forward. Like if you get sick of Ultimate Team, go and play pro clubs. Don't play Rush.
100%.
Go and play pro clubs. And and if you need to find a team, come play with us. So long
Yeah.
as you're over 18 and and are not an arsehole. So, limited selection out there in the world, but we'll do our best. Thank you for the message about leaking goals more than water at Old Trafford. Thank you for that
And that
one,
really is saying
Tom.
something. That's impressive
That's
on both
bad.
sides of that.
It's pretty bad. Bayinda in that pink kit, I could not take him seriously. Could not take him seriously. And I'm sorry, Doc. Sorry to put a down
No,
on
it's fine.
such at
It's
the end
fine.
of the
I
podcast.
have shit on Scousers for fucking decades. Don't worry about it. Trust me. I have given it hard because my dad went through the 70s when United were dog shit and the 80s when they were dog shit, and then they got good, and he'd taken so much grief for so many years that he kind of passed on this rabid hatred of Scousers onto me, where I'm just like, fuck
Just getting
you.
full circle, mate. Full
You're
circle.
never gonna win the league, that kind of thing. And then they went and won it, and then won it again.
Quick question.
And
Quick question. Will United win the league again, or will they, extend worse than when Liverpool was at 33 years or something like that without the Prem?
They
Demand
went
Man United in
What
that?
are they at now? How many years?
What was it,
13 this year.
2013 this year?
Yeah.
Will you win a title in the next 20 years?
I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound completely crazy.
Go for it.
With the right manager, United could turn it around in a season. No, they could.
No.
If they brought in somebody like Antonio Conte, they let him sign the players. If they just went, look, sell who you want, keep who you want, I think he would just lock down Old Trafford. It would become the dullest place on earth to watch football, and we would look to win games 1-0. And I think you can turn it around. The problem is you can't turn a club around like United in that way because it's not acceptable to the fans who've grown up watching them play expressive, open football, two up front, very much like Atletico Madrid play now, but with a bit more flair, so to speak. And it's just not going to be accepted. And I think that's the big issue. It's like, I think if Houllier hadn't had the Liverpool situation of not winning a league, he probably would have won one because he wouldn't have felt the pressure to to make that team push on. Same with Benitez. They both probably would have won the league had somebody won it within years. So I don't believe Slot would have won the league last year had Klopp not won it. I think that there would have been a mental barrier that players needed to overcome. Of we need to get this title. The city needs this. We
Yeah.
need the recognition.
Brendan Rodgers that season. That is exactly what we're talking about. They didn't have that mentality to see it through. We were 6 points clear with 3 games to go?
Yeah.
Palace happened. What was it? Chelsea happened.
It was a
It was a
crazy fall
mentality
apart.
thing, wasn't it? Of course it was.
Yeah.
And as we go back
And
to Scott now, he inherited that Klopp side who are winners. So I get exactly your point of what you're saying.
When you can pull Andy Robertson off the bench to close down a game, you know that you have a very, very good club because you have got the experience and the youth together at the same time. So, like Kirkus, he's going to learn a lot from Robertson. Sorry, he's going to learn a lot about being a professional, about what's expected of you when you wear that number for Liverpool. And United don't have that. We don't have people that turn around and go, "I've won this." It was Casemiro was supposed to be that guy that comes in and goes, "I've won this. I'm going to show you how to become a better team." And it was like, you don't sign a CDM at over 30. I don't believe you should sign a CDM over 26 because I think by then the knees are already on the way out.
Fabinho.
I think if somebody is all about the legs, their knees will go. It's happened to every great CDM of the last 20 years. Essien, Hargreaves, motor guys that just ran around non-stop. Knees went. Casemiro, he's had 2. Very small guy, though.
He is.
Kante's not he's very small, so for his size, him running around at that size isn't so much of an issue. And when Kante turns, he's putting less pressure through tendons that are
100%.
practically the same size as somebody who's 6'3". Rodri, for example, another one whose knee went and is not playing as well as he has in the past, and that's strange considering that nobody really thought about athleticism as part of his game. But the past and present is very exciting. Going forward, it's going to be fun. I know October 1st, we're going to have some team reveals. So that's going to be exciting as well. And going forward, probably a lot more qualification for Weekend League. Tactics are going to advance. And I'm really looking forward to the next podcast where we'll either have some experience of playing in the Weekend League. Is it open this weekend?
No, next week.
Next week, then getting some experience of preparing your team, getting ready for Weekend League. It's going to be very interesting seeing how the market responds to meta cards come Weekend League and rises and falls and things like that. And obviously, we are at the moment almost trusting EA. I feel like we're almost trusting them to not fuck it up. And I think that one of the best things I saw was when they ran a poll for defending, and 74.5% said, "Nah, just leave it as it is." But the way they worded it was like a Discord would word it, like defending, nerf that shit. It didn't say shit, but nerf it. Nah, it's all good. oh, this needs buffing, and 73 quarters of the people who play the game were happy with it.
Yeah.
So if they're doing that kind of feedback,
Hmm.
if I've mentioned this in the past, if they're willing to communicate in the way that, say, Blizzard communicates on Overwatch, where every 6 weeks there's a video comes out from the managing CEO where they talk about why they've patched the game, the differences that they've made, the difference that they've made to timings and things like that. And I know that's an FPS game, but it would be nice, as I say, for them to patch the game in a way that makes it slightly different each time so that different players become beneficial. And instead of having a team that suits your game, as the game evolves throughout the year, they make it so that basically they need to make the game so that the power curve makes the game feel like it does now, but with more consistency in shooting, passing, long passes, tackles, and everything. And what it needs is it needs to maintain that defense attack balance that it has right now. And I think the moment that the attack gets too far ahead of the defense is when we can argue about a power curve. But I think so long as they start buffing defenders at the same rate they buff strikers, it doesn't really matter how far into the game we go. We know that it can be good. So I'm just hoping that they do that. They tune the game as it grows and evolves. And to close it out, what kind of hopes do you guys have, Ryan? We've waxed lyrical and we're really happy about everything. What are kind of your hopes and goals for the next week?
For the next week, continue my evos for the past and present, to continue to foster this development team alongside the first team where pro clubs are concerned. And actually, do you know what? Just to enjoy the game. This is meant to be one of the most enjoyable parts of the game, and we obviously take a lot of aspects of it very seriously. It would just be nice, and it is nice, to just enjoy it for what it is, even if it goes wrong from here on out. And I don't think it's going to, not to any great degree anyway, but just to enjoy what we've got. To sit here and go, actually, I'm really enjoying this slower power curve that I've been forced to learn the game in a new way. Now, I do coaching for the Discord. I said, I put in there, I'll start coaching, free coaching, 4 weeks after full release. I thought 4 weeks was too long. I am so bloody glad I said 4 weeks. I was thinking, 2 will be fine. It'll all be the same. Oh my God, so glad I said 4 weeks, because now I've given myself a chance to learn it properly. So just to continue learning the game, experimenting with new tactics and formations and archetypes and everything else in between, and just getting into it. And that's so nice to say, rather than sitting here going, my God, I want all these things to be different. I'm actually sitting here looking ahead and going, let's go have fun.
Yeah. And to throw that one back at you, Tom. What are your hopes for the next week? Obviously, we'll be talking next week as well. But going forward, do you have any ambitions for your team? I mean, you're in Division 4 now. Is that correct?
Division 4 now. Yeah.
Division 4. So you're playing weekend league next weekend. That's done.
That's the plan. Prepare for weekend league this week. Tomorrow night, I've got my 3 squads ready for Gauntlet, which is really, really nice addition to the game. Running a Inter Milan side, a Liverpool side, and then a really nice hybrid of Liga BBVA, Women's La Liga, Liga A, and some Serie A cards. I thought, and they're all on full cam. Really, really nice. So it's a fun way of trying all these new cards. In true EA fashion, we've said how good they are for bringing up the new likes of this Goretzka. I've also just been notified that at 6:30 today, they forgot about Evos. They've released 2 Evos tonight of +1 dribbling. So that will be something that I will be chucking on my silver Rio and Gamoa, which I sniped for 10k coins. I'm just waiting to be market banned from EA now to handicap me for the PNP Super League. But yeah, in answer to your question, my main priority this week will be to do Gauntlet, get ready for champs. My main priority, boys, which I both need you for, is in half an hour or just under, we need to get our asses online for
25 minutes to 25
minutes. We've got to get ready for pro clubs, boys, because the
I gotta
boys
go have a protein shake. I gotta take some meds.
Ice bath, get ready, get a mindset for it all.
Strap up, gotta do the wrists. Fell over too much.
Just quickly, your end, Doc. Talk to me about your plans.
Be consistent in my game, be patient in defence, get out of Division 7, which I'm close to doing, and qualify for Weekend League so that I can see what it is all about in terms of the meta or in terms of how people play. I would like to go into next week feeling that people are playing different ways against me. But I am very positive that if people play one way, I'm going to work them out because I've already worked out how to stop cutback goals.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work you out very fast if you play a very standard game. Personally, I'm someone who passes the ball forward to pass it back to pass it forward. Like that's the way that I found the greatest amount of success is by pulling people out of position.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep on trying to do that. Where the pro will get to level 50 this week, which will give me Aerial Fortress,
Nice.
which will be a great addition to my part of my game in pro clubs, which is like winning the ball and making sure their big man doesn't beat me. I think that right now we're in this great honeymoon period where everything's going well and it looks like it has the foundations for a successful marriage, so to speak. And I think going forward that we will get to experience the best of this game right now. And so long as I said that the power curve comes with the defense, we will continue to enjoy it into the future. And if you've got with us this far, thank you very much. I know Tom's got one more thing to add. Please go ahead, man.
I just wanted to really end this episode the way that it started with just a question. Have I got ketchup on my face?
Cut it there.
Cut it there.
Loads. You've got loads on your face. Huge, massive, loads amount on your face. Huge loads.
Oh, mate.
Thank you, Ryan, for putting up with your brother and for putting up with me. It's always a privilege to have you on. Fuck the Italians. Come on, the Portuguese. We're going to have that Constructors Championship, mate. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got this. We got this. And with that, good night and good luck to everyone this week.